A few players in football have been as thrilling and unpredictable as Mario Balotelli, a player who could turn a game on its head one moment and leave fans speechless with his off-field antics the next. Why does controversy follow him everywhere? Is he misunderstood, or does he thrive on the chaos? Today, we're diving into Balotelli's wildest moments, the stories that made him both a football legend and its ultimate rebel. Let's find out. Why always him? One of the most unforgettable moments in modern football history unfolded on October 23, 2011. It was the Manchester Derby, a game already loaded with tension and fierce rivalry. As if scripted for drama, Mario Balotelli seized his moment. After scoring the opening goal, he lifted his jersey to reveal a simple message written on his undershirt: "Why always me?" The question struck like a lightning bolt across the stadium, sparking both laughter and disbelief. Instantly, that one moment became iconic, symbolizing everything that made Balotelli a magnet for attention, controversy, and intrigue. But what made this moment so powerful wasn't just the words. It was a statement. Bold, rebellious, and utterly Balotelli. To his critics, it was his way of mocking the endless media scrutiny, taunting those who seemed more interested in his off-field antics than his undeniable skills. To his fans, it was the ultimate bad boy move, proof that Mario wasn't about to play by anyone else's rules. The "why always me" moment became a defining image of his career, but in many ways, it raised more questions than it answered. Why was he always in the spotlight for the wrong reasons? Was he misunderstood, or did he thrive on controversy? And as the media buzzed with theories and fans embraced his anti-hero image, Balotelli just kept playing, seemingly unfazed by the storm he'd stirred up. But as wild as this statement was, it was only a glimpse into the turbulent life Mario Balotelli would lead. Because for him, that moment was just the beginning of a long line of unforgettable and sometimes chaotic chapters. If there's one story that sums up the chaotic energy of Mario Balotelli, it's the infamous fireworks incident. In October 2011, just a day before that iconic Manchester Derby, Balotelli made headlines in a way only he could. According to reports, Mario's bathroom ended up engulfed in flames after he and some friends decided to set off fireworks indoors. The blaze quickly got out of hand, and firefighters were called to contain the situation. No one was hurt, but the media had a field day with it, and Balotelli's reputation as football's ultimate wild card was solidified once again. The timing couldn't have been more surreal. Balotelli wasn't just any player. He was about to face Manchester United, one of the biggest games of the season. And yet, he somehow found himself in the spotlight for nearly burning down his house the night before. When reporters asked him about the incident, he played it cool, shrugging it off, as if it was just another day in the life of Mario. And here's the kicker. Despite all the chaos of the night before, Balotelli went on to score 2 goals in that same derby, leading Manchester City to a stunning 6-1 victory over United. In true Balotelli style, he responded to criticism and scandal, not with apologies, but with pure, undeniable talent. The fireworks incident wasn't just a bizarre story. It was emblematic of Mario's life, a constant tug of war between controversy and brilliance. It left fans and critics wondering, was this chaotic behavior the price of his genius? Or was he simply a magnet for trouble, unable or unwilling to stay out of the spotlight? If there's one thing that's consistently marked Mario Balotelli's career, it's his intense clashes with authority. Balotelli never seemed to mesh well with traditional rules or strict hierarchies, and this was especially clear in his relationships with coaches. His most famous and explosive feud was with Roberto Mancini, his manager at Manchester City. Mancini once described Balotelli as unmanageable, and the tension between the two reached a boiling point when they nearly came to blows during a training session. Images surfaced of the two in a heated physical struggle, leaving fans stunned and sparking endless headlines. But Mancini wasn't the only one. Across his stints in the Premier League, Serie A, and Ligue 1, Balotelli found himself in frequent disputes with managers and teammates alike. Jose Mourinho, who coached him at Inter Milan, famously recounted an incident where Balotelli earned a red card early in a match, despite Mourinho's explicit warnings to stay calm. The clash of egos and Balotelli's notorious disregard for rules became an open secret in football circles, often painting him as a player who was more trouble than he was worth. These incidents fueled the narrative that Balotelli was a talented yet volatile player who couldn't be controlled. The media and fans were quick to label him as football's problem child, and the controversies only added to his misunderstood image. Yet, beneath the surface, some argued that Mario simply wanted the freedom to be himself, a luxury not often afforded in the high-stakes, rigid world of professional sports. But these clashes weren't just a part of his career, they defined it. Balotelli's refusal to conform made him both revered and criticized, leaving fans and analysts wondering if his career would have reached even greater heights without the constant battles. And still, in true Balotelli fashion, he continued to take the field with an intensity and unpredictability that kept everyone watching. Just when everyone thought they had Mario Balotelli figured out, he'd surprise the world with acts that seemed completely at odds with his rebellious image. Beneath the headlines and controversies, Balotelli had a surprising side, one marked by generosity and unexpected kindness. It's almost as if he enjoyed keeping people guessing, flipping the script just when they thought they knew him. Stories began circulating about Mario paying for strangers' meals at restaurants, covering people's fuel costs at gas stations, and helping out kids in his community. These quiet, often unreported moments painted a vastly different picture of the man known for his unpredictable behavior on and off the pitch. In one memorable instance, Balotelli was spotted at a school, simply spending time with kids and encouraging them to work hard and stay focused. These gestures showed that, despite his antics, he cared about people and wanted to make a positive impact. For fans, it was a rare glimpse into a softer, more grounded side of Mario that often went unnoticed amid the media's focus on his controversies. Some saw this as Mario's attempt to rewrite his own story, a small rebellion against the bad boy narrative that followed him wherever he went. But even as he showed this compassionate side, it didn't stop the controversies from following him. In a way, these gestures made Balotelli more of an enigma. Was he trying to redeem himself, or was he simply showing that he was more complex than the public ever gave him credit for? These acts of kindness made Mario Balotelli one of football's most misunderstood figures. They showed that, for all his wild moments and missteps, there was a side of him that genuinely wanted to do good. But even this didn't change his reputation, because for every good deed, another shocking incident was always just around the corner. As much as Mario Balotelli tried to show his good side, trouble seemed to follow him wherever he went. Beyond the antics on the field and his disputes with managers, Balotelli had his fair share of off-field incidents that kept his name in the headlines. There were confrontations with fans, run-ins with the police, and public outbursts that only fueled his reputation as a loose cannon. At times, he seemed almost drawn to controversy, embracing the chaos around him like it was just another part of the game. One unforgettable incident happened when Balotelli was playing in Italy and got into a heated altercation with a group of fans. Known for his sharp tongue and refusal to back down, Mario's exchange quickly escalated, resulting in a scuffle that made headlines around the world. His fans argued he was simply defending himself, while critics saw it as yet another example of his inability to control his temper. Even away from the public eye, Balotelli's unpredictable behavior made him a magnet for trouble. Whether it was getting stopped by the police for speeding or rumored disputes at exclusive clubs, his off-field life was as dramatic as any match he played. For many, he embodied the stereotype of a football superstar who couldn't separate his fame from his everyday life, leaving his career on the edge as fans and managers alike wondered if he'd ever reach his full potential. Yet, no matter how wild things got, Balotelli remained unapologetic. He was who he was, no excuses, no apologies. This relentlessness, this refusal to conform or change for anyone, is what kept him both loved and loathed by fans across the world. And even as he tried to distance himself from the chaos, his legend only grew with each new scandal, cementing Mario Balotelli as one of the sport's most unforgettable figures. As the years went on, Balotelli's career became a series of comebacks, each one shrouded in hope, yet somehow controversy seemed to tag along like an old rival he couldn't shake. From England to Italy and France, he made high-profile returns to different leagues, each time promising to reignite the career that many felt had been overshadowed by his antics. Clubs saw the potential in his raw talent, hoping that he could once again deliver on the field. But time and again, despite brief flashes of brilliance, things would unravel, often for reasons only Mario himself could explain. One of his most notable comeback attempts was in the French league with Nice. Initially, he performed well, scoring goals and winning back fans with his undeniable talent. It seemed like he had finally found his groove, a second chance at greatness. But as time passed, familiar patterns emerged. Arguments with coaches, run-ins with opposing players, and a sense that Balotelli was somehow destined to clash with authority. Once again, his career trajectory took a downward turn, leaving fans and analysts to wonder what could have been. When he returned to Italy to play for Brescia, his hometown club, hopes were high that he might find redemption where it all began. But despite his best efforts, controversies and setbacks followed him. Tensions with the club's management and inconsistent performances led to yet another departure, marking what felt like a final chapter in his complicated relationship with football's elite leagues. By this point, the world saw Balotelli as football's ultimate wasted talent, a player who, despite his undeniable gifts, couldn't escape the shadow of his own reputation. Yet, even with his career seemingly winding down, fans continued to root for him, hoping he'd one day shake off the controversies and fulfill his potential. But for Mario Balotelli, it seemed that chaos was always part of the package, leaving us to wonder if he would ever find a way to harness his talent without losing his way. Mario Balotelli's career is a tale of talent and turmoil, of moments of brilliance intertwined with unforgettable controversies. For some, he'll always be the misunderstood genius, a player who defied expectations and lived by his own rules, regardless of the consequences. For others, he's a cautionary tale, a player whose potential was shadowed by his penchant for chaos. But maybe the truth is somewhere in between. Balotelli showed us that football, like life, isn't always about fitting into the mold. His "why always me" attitude wasn't just a slogan. It was a reflection of a man who could never quite escape the spotlight, no matter how hard he tried. Or maybe didn't try. And while his career might have been unpredictable, one thing is certain: he left a mark on the game that few will ever forget. As we look back on Balotelli's wild journey, we're left with a question that only he can answer. Was it all worth it? Was he football's ultimate rebel, or was he a legend trapped by his own demons? One thing's for sure: whether you loved him or couldn't understand him, Mario Balotelli made football a little more unforgettable. And in the end, maybe that's exactly what he wanted. Balotelli's life story didn't start in the luxury or privilege often associated with elite athletes. Born to Ghanaian immigrants in Italy, his early years were marked by hardship. His parents, struggling financially, placed him in foster care, a decision that undoubtedly shaped the man he would become. Growing up as an outsider, not just culturally, but also economically, Balotelli faced rejection from a young age. Imagine the struggles of a young boy trying to find his place in a world where he didn't quite fit. But Mario never let these challenges define him. Instead, he channeled his energy and frustrations into football, using the sport as both a refuge and an outlet. Through sheer determination and an undeniable love for the game, he climbed his way to the top, eventually earning a spot in professional football. Balotelli's story teaches us something powerful. No matter where you start, your future is yours to create. He's living proof that raw talent, when combined with resilience, can break down even the toughest barriers. His life reminds us that circumstances don't define us. Our response to them does. Mario has always been, well, Mario. He's never been one to fit into the typical box expected of a professional athlete. Known for his flashy style, daring personality, and unapologetic behavior, he didn't follow the traditional path of being reserved or by the book. Whether it was his sense of fashion, his hairstyles, or his behavior on the pitch, Mario made it clear that he was his own person. Of course, many misunderstood this as arrogance, while others viewed it as a lack of discipline. But Mario simply refused to conform to anyone else's expectations. In a world that loves to tear down those who don't fit the mold, he taught us that it's okay to be different. His life is a reminder that individuality isn't something to be tolerated, it's something to be embraced. For Balotelli, being himself was worth more than pleasing anyone else, and that's a lesson we can all take to heart. It's a reminder that the most important approval you can have is your own. Perhaps one of the most painful chapters in Balotelli's career was dealing with racial abuse, especially in Italy, where he played in front of crowds that weren't always welcoming. As a black player in a predominantly white country, Mario faced prejudice both on and off the field. He was booed, taunted with racial slurs, and even subjected to monkey chants, disgraceful behaviors that no one should have to endure. But instead of letting these incidents break him, he found a way to stand tall. Balotelli's resilience became a symbol of inner strength for many who saw his struggle. By refusing to back down, he showed others the importance of self-worth and self-respect, even when society fails to see it. Balotelli's story here teaches us that while prejudice and criticism are hurtful, they can also become fuel to stand up, defend yourself, and prove that no amount of hate can define your value. His strength in these moments has inspired many, reminding us all of the power of resilience in the face of discrimination. Mario's career has been anything but smooth sailing. Over the years, he's made his fair share of mistakes, some small, others much larger. From the infamous fireworks incident, where a prank at home went horribly wrong, to clashes with managers and teammates, Mario's career has seen many highs and lows. Often, his actions would overshadow his talent, causing critics and fans alike to question if he was worth the trouble. Yet, despite the backlash and a reputation damaged by his own choices, Mario never gave up. He kept returning, more determined than ever to show he still had something to offer. He's a perfect example that setbacks aren't the end. Instead, they're stepping stones to growth and improvement. Mario's resilience teaches us that it's not about being flawless, it's about refusing to quit, even when the world is quick to label you a failure. Balotelli's journey reminds us that redemption is possible if we're willing to face our mistakes, learn from them, and keep pushing forward. There's a side of Balotelli that many don't know. While he's famous for his wild antics, there are numerous stories about his quiet acts of kindness that go untold. On several occasions, Balotelli was known to pay for strangers' meals, cover the fuel costs for people at gas stations, and spend time talking to young fans. These small but genuine acts reveal a different side of Mario, a side that goes beyond the bad boy image that the media often portrays. These moments teach us that true character is often shown in the smallest acts of kindness. Balotelli didn't need the applause. He wasn't doing it for the cameras. His compassion for others, his willingness to give back to his community, speaks volumes. Mario's story here reminds us that no matter how famous or successful you become, there's always room for humility and kindness. And sometimes, the little things are the ones that define who we truly are. One of Balotelli's most famous moments came when he scored a goal, lifted his jersey, and revealed a t-shirt with the words, "Why always me?" For many, this slogan was just another stunt, another way to grab headlines. But when you look closer, it's a powerful message of self-acceptance. Mario was constantly in the spotlight, often criticized for his actions and decisions. The "why always me" moment wasn't just a question. It was his way of showing the world that he wasn't going to change for anyone. Balotelli's life is a reminder that we each have a unique path, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is be unapologetically yourself. His message encourages us to embrace our own stories, to live authentically, and to stop letting others' opinions shape who we are. In a world that's quick to judge, Mario teaches us the importance of self-acceptance and the courage to stand firm in our identity. Mario Balotelli's career is filled with valuable lessons for anyone willing to look beyond the headlines. His life teaches us about resilience, the strength to overcome adversity, and the courage to be different. He showed us that mistakes don't define us unless we let them, and that compassion is more powerful when it's genuine. And maybe, just maybe, the biggest lesson he leaves us with is that the only person you need to answer to is yourself. Mario Balotelli may be known for his wild moments and controversies, but his story is a testament to the power of staying true to oneself, no matter the cost. His journey isn't just a story of a football player, it's a story about embracing who you are, learning from life's twists and turns, and finding meaning in the journey itself.